All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dialer's Twi'lek Tactics. It is Tuesday night, which means it is time for my This Week in Eternal Evolution segment. For the last couple of weeks, I've been switching it up, and I've been doing the discussion of the prior week in Eternal Evolution on Tuesday nights with special guests, and then I save the patch notes and all that good stuff for tomorrow by itself, since those videos were getting kind of long. Now, tonight, we have two folks that are also in the content creator program. We got Crom and we got Mayhem. So we'll start with Crom. Crom, introduce yourself and let everybody know where they can find you.
Hey everyone, I'm Crom. You guys can find me on Discord as Crom. I'm in the Celestials Guild. Celestials Guild Doom, or Celestials Doom Guild. That would be on between servers 999 and 107.
All right. Mayhem, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, this is Gaming with Mayhem. You can find me at Gaming with Mayhem, and I am in Guild's Renegade of Funk, and we are between 70 and 80 servers.
Is it wrong that I don't know what server cluster my guild is in? I have no clue.
I forget, especially with this last summer.
All right. So when did you guys start playing EE? And then also, are you pay to win or are you free to play?
I'll go. I started right in January. I want to say it was right in the beginning. So I was lucky and got the Northion banner, like some people haven't. And then I'm pay to win. If you're a spreadsheet where you have your pay to win and free to play, I'm about half of that.
Gotcha.
I actually did today.
Crom.
Yeah, actually, same here. I'm like halfway between like pay to win and free to play.
So remember, Mayhem, I'm Canadian, so that dollar amount times it by 0.65, and that's your dollar amount if you're US. So my number looks a little bit bigger, but it's not really. It's make believe maple syrup money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Crom, when did you start playing?
I started playing, I want to say like a couple weeks before Ryzeris came out.
So that was April, I do believe. I think that was sometime in April.
Yeah.
May. Cool. Right on. So did you get the Nord banner as well then, or did you miss that one?
No, unfortunately, our server missed that banner.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks, especially if they do bring him back. I'm kind of speculating that September 17th we're going to get a Nord banner for free, finally, because it's his 6 months since his release date, which is when we got our first Bailey banner, which was the prior pay-to-win paywall banner. But we'll see how much people get up in arms, because I know people that have never spent in this game ever that finally cracked when that $200 Nord bundle came up.
Yeah, there was quite a few people who bought that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely made their money on
Yeah,
that one.
We had quite a few people in our guild buy that bundle.
And fair enough. Like he is arguably the second best hero in the game under the new SP hero.
Yeah, I mean, he can do everything.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so we're going to get into tonight's little agenda. We're going to discuss some stuff that has come up in the game this week. Our first topic is going to be the previous banners, and we'll start with Teresh. So Teresh, I know my initial thought on Teresh when I first read his kits and I first saw him was, he's going to be a meh tank. Like, I was expecting like Zeta level. I didn't think he would be as good as he is. So we're going to discuss the impact of Teresh now that he's only going to be around on his banner for 2 more days, today and tomorrow. He has made my tank team the meta again. I sit my tank team in first on my 1v1 arena, and very few people can get it down. There are a few people on my friends list that can get it, but those are also like people that have Kraken maxed out accounts that are much bigger than mine. How have you guys, or first of all, what were your impressions of Teresh when he came out, and your impressions now, and what is the impact that you've felt in the game with him in your roster? We'll start with Crom.
Well, when I first read his kit, when his kit first came out, I was with you. I was kind of like meh. And then when he actually got released and I started reading more with his kit, and I was like, okay, so he actually sounds like a decent tank. And then I got him up to Legendary 4, EX20, and I started just playing around with him, and I was like, wow, okay, he's actually a really good tank. He's very tanky, and his little circle damage reduction, damage increase isn't much, but it's just enough to give you an edge in battle.
For sure. Mayhem, what are your thoughts?
When he first came out, I think a lot of people were like, it's going to be a tank, meat shield. And then, but when I read that part about the kit where he would throw the guy in his same line, that's where I was like, I think there could be some fun with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I got him, and I immortaled him right off the bat, did the 180. And then I actually didn't even wait. I should have, but then I EX30'd him, and just like you said, man, made the tank team the meta again. You had to mostly, anytime in summon, you had to go tank to tank, because if you did anything else, you would lose. And it was beating hunter teams where they were just, you would melt them, throwing a Wami in the back, and they would just tear it up. I think he's awesome. He's probably one of my favorite now.
Yeah,
plus he's draft kind of thing. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, that throw mechanic is really what makes the tank team broken, because it was weird. So when they introduced Dorley, if you X30'd your Dorley, and you could actually take summoners in against tanks and beat them quite easily. It would take a little bit. It would take a while, but you would beat them. And then and then hunters were beating tanks, no problem. So tanks had been the meta. And then people had finally started to get their hunters up, and then their hunters could beat tanks, and then summoners could beat tanks, but it required a specific character. And everybody, it kind of seemed balanced. Like there was balance in the force. And then all of a sudden, Teresh comes, and he's got that one move, that one mechanic, where he chucks someone in the back, and it just wrecks so many teams. So many teams.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, and the first time I used it, I was like one guy on our my friends list that I could never beat, and I just tried it against him, and I finally beat him, and I was like, "Wow, this guy's amazing."
So how would you?
Same here when I first used that ability.
Yeah, that was crazy. How would you rank it? Do you consider him like a top 10? Because arguably you could make an argument that Panda and Wami are almost more important for the tank team, but I could also make the argument that Teresh is more important. Both him and Wami have plug and play capability, whereas Panda is kind of tied to a tank team. No one really wants to run Panda as the frontliner or as a solo tank, whereas Wami is used everywhere, and Teresh can be used to chuck like Nord in the back, or I've seen people chucking Jaina in the back to get behind people before she goes off. Who would you rate out of the three as most important of the tanks, independent of the tank team? Teresh, Panda, or Wami? We'll start with Crom.
Oh man, I'd definitely go with Wamigon first, just because, especially if you have an EX30, that extra HP boost is so huge, and it's he can pretty much tank. If you got like high enough like guild tech, he can pretty much tank almost everyone.
What you think, Mayhem?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with that too. Like, just because he can take. How many times have we been in matches to where he's the last one alive and he's going against 3 or 4 people, and also when it's him or Nord, 9 times out of 10 he's gonna beat Nord every time.
Yep. That is very, very true.
So
I've had that happen to me, unfortunately. Now I will say that I think Teresh has more value under evolved. Whereas Wami, when he is only got his X10 or his X20, is really not much of a threat. Whereas a lot of Teresh's kit is independent of his evolution level, which as I say, I can make a case either way. So I'm just going to stay out of this one. I'll let you guys both pick Wami.
You are think about it. You know, whatever the next Vanguard. I mean, Teresh could actually, if you think about it, maybe playing around with the Vanguards a little too. With the, so I mean, I mean, probably better for an account in the beginning. Teresh is going to be better, like overall, to get your count going, and then Wamagon is way better at his end game.
Agreed. All right. Agreed. Okay, so that's Teresh. For those of you watching this video tonight or tomorrow, his banner is up for till Thursday, or basically till Thursday morning at roughly 3 a.m. So, Thursday morning? Yeah, Thursday morning. So get a copy. At least get one copy of him, and then you can work on him. Don't miss him, because we don't know when he'll be coming back around. Probably 7 weeks until his giant tower. But all right, next up on the agenda that happened this week, which kind of caught me totally off guard, was the Divine Blessing, the Wishlist Banner. What did you guys think when you heard this thing was coming back after 6 weeks since the last one? We'll start with Mayhem this time.
I was like, damn, because I was trying to save my tickets, but then it was just a good banner. I mean, to get Jaina, which, I mean, she helped. If you were on your guild trying to help get the spider boss down, she made it just nuking the spider now. And then I've always liked Barag, honestly. Like, he's probably one of my favorite. And I've been playing around with him on a build now, and he is a monster. He just tanks everything and can just keep going. And then Dan helps out if you're trying to, Immortal 5 him up. But I thought it was an awesome banner.
Yeah. Who did you go for?
I went for Barag because of the giant tower. And I had, with Vanguards being the next schedule to come up, I wanted to build him up, and I lucked out with 90 pulls. I got 5 Brags.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the increased drop rate, really, pardon me, really just if you hit it, it feels so good. Like, I got a ton as well. I got my Barag up to Immortal 5 off of this Wishlist banner. I got one or two Jainas, and I got 1 Dan, which just went into dismissal coins. But yeah, this was a crazy banner. But it seems like we need so many limited tickets now, because starting on Thursday, we're going to have the new SP, whatever they call that, the Resonance, not the Astral Mirror event again with the new one. Crom, who did you go for, and what did you think of the Wishlist banner coming back so soon after its last iteration?
Oh man, I'm with Mayhem. Like, I was just trying to save my limited tickets, and then they dropped this, and I was like, okay, well, I already have a spider killer team, and I only had a Immortal 2 Jaina, and I was like, okay, I'll just use some, try to get her to Immortal 5. And I did get her to Immortal 5, and I got 4 copies of Barag within those summons.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. So now he's Immortal 2 plus 1 extra.
Sweet. So do you think this is going to come back every 6 weeks now? Like, do you figure that now that, because one of the criticisms of this game is they release the heroes too fast. And that's more of an issue of people that don't have time to get the limited tickets to build them up. But I like that they're giving us more options to get the hero, to pick the hero or the team we want to build versus waiting for another banner to come back up. Who knows when that's going to be. Now, if they keep this to a 6 weeks cadence, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And do you think they'll do that? So we'll start with Crom on this one.
Since it came out, like you said, in 6 weeks, I think they'll probably keep to that schedule. Especially with them keeping or pushing more Triple S heroes out every 2 weeks, and then trying to push back like early game to mid game released characters. And I think the only thing that would actually be perfect with the Divine Blessing is if they halved the not the tickets, but the tokens. The data chips. Yeah. I think if they would just half those on some Triple S heroes, that would be for me, that would be pretty decent.
Yeah, I've said that often too. I've criticized them. I said if a gene hybrid is 80, there's really no sense not having all the other heroes be 80. Well, you see the elites are already 80, but the triple S are 120. I understand why they do that, but I think that given the depth of heroes that we have to go for now, it does make sense. They might as well just make it 80, so you can either just pick a copy or pick a gene if you want to go for somebody outside of the shop. Mayhem, what's your thoughts on the return after 6 weeks?
I see it happening, but I also liked how, and I saw it in your video where you popped it with the every 30, they enhanced, they up the value to get a triple S. And if they keep it like that, that'd be great, because then you might have some of the free to play. Now, instead of spending 60, 70, 80, 90 tickets, you're going to get a couple of copies, hopefully. And it's going to feel good. You're like, all right, now my tickets went somewhere. Not where how many times have we spent 90 tickets and we got a pity and that's it. And it's just like, so I think this will. And plus, like you said, it's got to push. We need to get more copies. The people can't. It just gives them a better chance to build up their characters instead of, some of us, don't have the chance of have all these gene hybrids sitting to level up a character. So I think it will. And I think it's a great thing they've done.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I like your point that when you're saying pulling off a pity, because I've seen too many videos of people doing summon sessions, and they get their first pity, they get their 60, and then they'll go 180 tickets without getting the next one, and that just feels really bad, really bad. So I agree that they should make this an every 6 week thing, switch up the heroes, and keep the probabilities the same, because it does, when you get 5 heroes in 90 tickets, that feels really, really good and can only, increase the morale of the player base. So I see your point. And because I only ever pull to pity on a new banner and stop, because I know I'm just wasting my tickets. If I go further, I'll just use genes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I do like what they did with the new banners of getting, get an extra copy. I did like the older banner when they first came out, when you got a couple of copies. But like you said, the morale, I think, is what they need to help out with the community, because getting more characters or more copies is just going to make it feel good. And then you're like, all right, let's go for the next time.
Yeah. Yeah, and they have been giving us a little bit, freeing up, like with these Wishlist banners, they're kind of freeing up more copies to be gotten with cheaper resources. And then, like, we had the resonance agreement first for the first couple heroes. I think it was Doralee and Rebecca, where you could get an extra 2 copies. Mm-hmm. And now this Astral Mirror feels bad in a way. It's not as good. I guess I can't pull it up, because I think you have to pull 180 to get 1 extra copy. But if they keep bringing back this Wishlist banner every 6 weeks, that'll definitely more than make up for, I guess, the loss of I guess we're losing the new Triple S. But Jaina's pretty damn new. I think she's only been out for 5 weeks. I think not 5 weeks. Her last banner, her return banner, came back quick. I think it was 6 weeks after her initial release, and I think this banner came back 5 weeks. I'd have to check my spreadsheet, but they're definitely giving people chances to get the newer heroes, which is kind of nice. All right, so Wishlist banner, good. We all agree, Wishlist banner, great. Keep it up. Devs, keep them coming. The only thing is that's going to create a little bit of FOMO. People are going to be buying some limited ticket packs, because they sure haven't increased the opportunities to accrue limited tickets in this game. I'm looking at Ancient Altar. We could all use 2 more tiers with some more rewards.
Please.
That would give us more limited tickets and more gene hybrid shards. Just give us a little bit more, and you're going to watch all the complaints drop. Or not all of them, because people like to bitch, but you'll see a lot more complaints drop. Can we agree on that?
Oh, I've been begging for that. Just
same here.
For the higher tier players, the in-game players, it's something to fight. Like, give me something that's hard. That's the one thing, is when you can down it instantly, that's where it's kind of get something to, like, where I have to, like, actually theory craft, try to go through what team might work better. I've honestly liked the endless battle because of that reason, where you kind of have to mess around with the teams. So I wish they would do that.
And the endless battle is like a sandbox mode. where you can just play around with your characters.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's where I've been testing my Helentis. And if anyone saw that video, she did not do good in that endless battle because they did not build her for PvE very well.
No, I watched that video. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we'll discuss Hell Arena, and we'll discuss what I have some thoughts on that. That's the subject after this next one. So Summit Arena, you see it up on the screen. It's still ongoing. Summit Arena I thought was going to go away. I thought they were going to retire it when Hell Arena came in because they both kind of do the same thing. They just last a lot longer. I guess I'm okay that they left it because me as a spender, I don't like saying whale because there's a lot of people spend way more money than me. As a whale in this game, I do make the summit the summit round every month, but it's just a poorly planned. I can understand it was good when maybe the game first came out, when the difference between spenders wasn't so huge. So with the introduction, when they did the X talents, X 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth one, which doubles everything, that made the gap between pay to win and free to play PvP players almost insurmountable. One of my battles up against Bad Juju that knocked me out, I tested against his tank team, and since he had an Immortal 5 or a high Immortal Wamagon, I just couldn't kill him. Couldn't kill him. So how did you guys do in Summon Arena? And then what are your thoughts on Summon Arena now that we have more PvP, and now that they're moving into a PvP kind of content focus? We'll start with Crom.
Oh man. At first, when I started this game, when I first got into Summit Arena, I was like, okay, this is something different from other games I'm used to. And then Summit Arena only comes back like rarely. You know what I mean? Like, was it like once a month or once every 2 months?
A little bit more than a month. They used to stick to a 1 month cadence, but now it's like every 5 weeks.
Yeah. And I'm mostly a PvE player, so I put all my heroes in PvE gear, and I completely forget about it and just throw them into Summit Arena. And I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and that's how I get kicked early on.
So where do you usually make it up to? Do you get into the group stage, or usually out of it by qualifiers?
No, I usually get in the group stage. There was one time I actually got in the top 16.
And how fun is it to get kicked out early and then not have anything to do but bet on the winners? Doesn't feel good, does it?
Yeah, that was it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because at that point I was like, I need to set myself a reminder or something to switch my gears before Summit Arena happens.
At least, like, if we look at the rewards, like if we go to the store, they're not, prototypes. So it used to be the prototypes were the thing that was impossible to get, and that people that got high in Summit, like Bailey, like who cares? Now we have ways to get the heroes. Red runes are always going to be red runes, but the prototypes, with the introduction of the prototype gene hybrid shards in Terradome, the prototypes aren't that big of a deal. So is Summit Arena really worth it? Like, other than the gene hybrid, which is nice, everyone would like a gene hybrid, but the rewards are all achievable in other game modes. They've kind of lessened the impact of what you get out of Summit Arena. Would you agree, or do you think I'm being a little bit high and mighty given the fact that I always get that gene hybrid?
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree too.
It's the same, like you said, they got Bailey in there. That's one of my biggest things I've been wishing they would do, is switch up all the shops, because they're all just old stuff in there. And I mean, I get it, they want it for the newer players to get things, but take Bailey out. I mean, he's obsolete mostly, and switch it up a little of something, put maybe some Astro cards in there or something like that. But
yeah,
I don't know. This was not my favorite one.
Yeah, like the prototypes, like I used to salivate over stuff, but then with Terradome X3, and now you can actually get, if you do your endless battles and rank. You don't have to rank first or in the top 5, but you will get. I think it's top 50. I don't know, but you will get shards of these gene hybrid prototypes, or these prototype gene hybrids. Like it seems like they've really loosened up on the ability to acquire red prototypes, which was the main thing that people wanted to get out of Summit Arena.
Yeah, I honestly think they've upped the value even in the Terror Dome for getting the shards, because I've noticed the last like week or so I've been getting way more shards than I've ever have been. And so I think they are trying to help out getting the prototypes higher. But no, this Summit Arena, for the first time in a very long time, I did not make it to the 16, and it was my guildmate that knocked me out. But he was on a spending spree because he had 2 copies of Caraxia, so I knew he was kind of on a spending spree, and it's just his. I lost to a summoner team, which I was really shocked. But no, I make it normally to the 16 or the Elite 8.
Well, it's funny because this one guy down here, Mad Trooper, he has a maxed Caraxia, and he lost. And if we can find it, where is he? He's over here. So here's his Caraxia. His Caraxia team actually lost. It was a Caraxia Vanguard team, and it actually lost to a tank/assassin team, which I guess tanks are the natural hard counter to Vanguards. So I'm guessing what happened is that the tanks just melted his Vanguards, and there was no one left but good old Caraxia by herself, and he beat her. So definitely not a magic silver bullet into the finals that everyone maybe thought that she was going to be. You just got to play against her smartly, and kudos to Mad Reaper, and that's another guildmate of troopers that knocked him out of the top 4. So cool.
Yeah, both of my guildmates are in the top 4 tonight, so hopefully they'll get there. It'll be a fun one for us.
The first one in a while. We'll see what happens. It goes in 9 minutes. So we got Zerax, which is our resident Kraken in the Revolution cluster. He's the guy with everything. If we look at his teams, it's unfortunate that he went up against Beardy. Beardy's another one of our Krakens, but you see Zerax's stuff. It's all MO5.
Gee.
So I think Zerax is the man, the myth, the legend, and he loves this game. He's not just some person that spends money willy-nilly. He actually knows every kit inside and out. So he's I think he is a going on like 6-time Summit winner. But it's up to Dockley to keep Rev into the finals. Bad Juju is the guy that knocked me out. He's on my friends list. I told him GG, but it's Bad Juju in some, I don't even know what guild he's in, and then Mad here. So it could be, I don't know, it'll be interesting. I'll have to check that out, add that out later. Any final thoughts on Summon Arena, Crom?
I just wish that they would change the shop up frequently.
Yeah, agreed. And did you guys notice that the Endless Battle shop changed this iteration?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think that they would, but they did, which is a good sign. Where are we here? We'll get to Endless Battles later. We'll go to Endless Battles now, since that's on the docket tonight. So, what do you guys think of 3 months of straight Assassin Endless Battle?
Not my Assassin's problem, but I actually like Endless Battle a lot. You and me have talked before about the Spider Guard team with the Vanguards. That was a pretty strong team that I made on there with the old Teresh and the Wami. But I like it a lot. It gives you time to play with teams and play with stuff and see with your numbers. So I like it a lot.
Crom?
Yeah, same here. Like I said earlier, it was for me like a sandbox mode where I can just throw in any character I wanted to and just literally play around. Like, that's how I'm spending more time in the game, is literally by endless battles.
Mm-hmm.
And to answer your question about 3 months of Assassins, me personally, Vanguards are my favorite team. When I saw, actually, I think it was one of your videos back in April where you did a deep dive on Leo and Crete. That's what got me into the game. And I was like, okay, I have to have these characters.
Mhm.
So now I have those characters, and now it's like a whole bunch more characters are coming in, and I'm starting to play endless battles, especially with the vanguards. I threw in all my vanguards on it, and I was like, okay, so how could I do more damage? And then I try assassins. All my assassins are EX20. Like, I don't know, there's something about them I just like don't really like. And then I actually had 300 mythic runes, and I just threw them all on Dominic, and I noticed that my score went from 17 million up to 21 million on Reign of Idar.
So are you one of those guys that thinks Dominic is more important than Rickert?
Oh,
that's fine.
I'd say they're equal.
Yeah.
I'd say they're equal.
Yeah, it's a running joke with me and Donkey Punch, because he's all in on Dominic, and I do understand the arguments. You know, Dominic, you can use him in other teams. Like, I actually run Dominic in my Lionstorm team for points. Obviously not this account, but my main account with Jaina, just because I can get more points with Dom and Jaina versus Rez and Jaina. One thing I noticed that was different that they've changed is that there's no real fear of dying now. Did you guys notice in this, specifically the Spider King's Guard, it went from the last time it was around, it was a mission to keep Leo alive, and now you can basically just send in purple characters and they just won't die. It's now more of a how many points can you score versus have to worry about them living.
I noticed that the first thing was, like last time we did it, that's all you struggled is to keep Leo alive, and now you look at it and their health bar never dies and it just keeps going. But the one thing did anyone notice with remember what you talked about with the they switched it with the points with the little coins you get, where now if you hit 30 you automatically get all of them? I don't know, did anyone know? I've noticed now with mine it almost goes to 28 every time.
Yeah, it's either you get lucky sometimes, I'll hit it at 18, but for the majority of the time, it's 27 out of 30. And it'll just give you 1, even if you roll 3, 1, and it skips you forward. So, you remember how they said that they were going to, they were going to put in this pity timer, and that was going to make it so that people could get further into the raffle rounds? Well, I did a comparison, because I knew what I got on the last time versus now, and it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. They really didn't change anything. So this pity timer needs to be about 18 to really make a difference. You guys notice that you get the exact same pretty much regardless of the pity?
Yeah, same.
I finished 20. I'm going to finish 20 again, and I've done that every single time. Finish right at 20.
Yeah. They did change it too. So before it went past 16, so I do believe 12. 13 is where we start getting the prototype genes, and now it just caps out at 16, and then it just stays the same. Whereas I do believe it went to 18, and then after 18, this wasn't the main prize. I can't remember what the main prize was. Do you recall what it used to be? Anybody?
I do not remember what it was.
It wasn't this. I can't remember what it was, but they've tweaked this every month, and I do enjoy the fact that it is in its current iteration, because I'm seeing people, specifically on, say, like Lionstorm, which is the tank fight, people are building their tanks as damage dealers in crit builds. Right? So it's just, I like that it's, okay, here's a fight, figure it out. And people can do weird things, like you're against the boss. It doesn't matter if your tanks are in damage gear. You don't have to really worry about HP, and you can do more crit builds, figure out more things. And I know that is kind of translating into different comps outside of Endless Battles. What do you guys think of? Have you any of you guys run the crit build tanks?
I actually, my Teresh has 99 crit rate on him, and I'm trying to build up a second set for Wamagon, and no, I've seen the numbers go up, and I think it's fun. Now you can play with sets. Actually, for a while, I had to start crafting my Sun Signet to get HP gloves and HP helmet to build this, but I think it's pretty cool because you can mess with some different sets and play with things and see what works. So
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
I had to say HP Sun Signet sets because I had just, right before this came out, I had just dismantled all HP primary Overload and Sun Signet sets.
Oh, man.
Well, it is what it is. I'm still going to get first, so it doesn't affect me, but I learned my lesson to at least keep some. Last question on Endless Battles, and I'll shoot this one to Crom. Why didn't we get a Summoner Endless Battle instead of Idar? Like, I know they wanted to showcase the SP hero, but they just released a new, if I'm looking at the Insectoid one, which is the Vanguard one, these are all old heroes. Like Barag is I hate calling him an old hero, but he's an old hero. Why not have, sure, bring back him, bring back the tank one because of Teresh, but why didn't we get a Summoner battle instead? What's your thoughts?
That is honestly good. Yeah, that's a good question. When this Endless Battle came out, I wondered that myself. The only thing I could think of is maybe there's like too many summoners in the battles, maybe, or I know that they were having issues with Durali with her summoner as a tank, so maybe they just didn't want to. Or maybe they skipped summoners because of the issues with Durali.
True. So did I tell any of you, or did any of you get it? Have you heard through the grapevine that you can use summoners on the Vanguard boss and get almost the same score as Vanguards?
I have some of my guildmates have tried it. I haven't played with it yet, but I think that's cool. That's honestly, you can play around with teams.
So I promised somebody in my Discord server I wouldn't disclose it till near the end. And so what you do is you run Barag, Teresh, and then you run Dan, Anpu, and Sorvali. You put Dan in bug gear. Obviously, you put Teresh in bug gear. Or not Teresh, Barag in bug gear. You put Anpu in bug gear, and you throw Anpu into the circle. And then you put Sorvali in a madness set because otherwise her deer don't die. So you put her in a madness set so the deer constantly die, and you basically get all of your damage from Barag and Anpu, and you can get a decent score. I got like 37 million, which doesn't beat my Vanguard score, but for a person that doesn't have good Vanguards, everyone's got good summoners. There's a team for you. So if you're watching it, if you're watching this far into this video, there's a strat for people they can use. So go out there and get it. All right. Okay. So let's discuss Hell Arena because I don't know what to think about Hell Arena. It's not the PvP. It's the PvP mode we got. It's okay, but it doesn't have that wow factor. It doesn't really grab me. Given that we only have 3 fights a day, but I'll discuss my thoughts more. Crom, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on Hell Arena now that it's been out for basically a full 2 weeks, and now with this week we have a little bit better fighters. We're not actually fighting all bots. What are your thoughts?
Well, as you're like starting out, when I first started in Hell Arena, it was nothing but bots. And I was thinking, okay, I can definitely win this. And as you like progress through, you get promoted through. I started seeing a couple of my guildmates in it, and I was like, okay, I can actually fight my guildmate now. And I thought, that was pretty fun. But then, like, when that 3 battles are over, you go back to doing your normal dailies, and it's like, oh, well, kind of forget about it until the next morning.
So you think it's a good game mode, or do you think it's okay, or you think that it's you kind of missed the mark? What are your thoughts generally?
Generally, I think it's good content. Honestly, it has actually good, decent rewards for the shop. I'm not sure how in the world the bots are getting in, or unless the developers are creating the bots on purpose. Probably for free to play people to get a good rank in Hell Arena.
I think you're onto something there. I think that if new players got rolled right off the beginning, then they're not going to really partake.
Yeah. And I think as you just keep progressing higher and higher into Hell Arena, you're going to start seeing more and more players in it, and a lot less bots. So I think overall, in the end, it's going to be really good. It's going to be very competitive. In my opinion, I think this is actually a really good replacement for GVG.
Mm-hmm. Which is what it is. The Loose Lips, the Synchro Ships, has confirmed that GVG is officially dead. It is gone. It is not coming back. This is the PvE game mode that replaced it, even though we still have it in our guild section of our base.
Yeah.
Mayhem, what are your thoughts on Hell Arena?
Well, I love PvP, so I was all for it. I mean, I honestly think that next Hell Arena season will be great, because right now, if you're a higher end player, it's slow. You're just going through it. I mean, some of my guild mates are playing some, top people already, and then mine, there's a lot of low tier ones, but after you start ranking up, and because they're just like you said, the beginning they put bots in for the newer players to come in, get some points. I think it's designed to get the new assassin to build up to get 120 and get her. Mm-hmm. And then after you start climbing the ranks, and then now you're getting into the legendary and all those, that's when I think it's going to be fun, because now you add that fourth team, which I think is going to be real fun and kind of show the divert, because some people can build 3 teams, but can you build 4 teams? Yep. So that I think is going to be fun to play around. So that's what I say. And after, I think what they say, next season, wherever you finish, you'll only go down 3 ranks. Yep. So honestly, I think it's a great game mode. Yes, it's slow in the beginning, but I think now after you get a little higher in the ranks and we start getting up there, and now instead of you just doing your 3 hits and you're done, now you're going to have to think about it. You're going to have to play around with it, try some gear out and all that. So honestly, I think it's a great thing to add. I mean, it's new content and it keeps you thinking, and I think it's really good for the game.
You're correct. And a lot of people, that is a criticism that I've heard bandied around, is the fact that, it's all just bots. It's stupid. But that's, as soon as you get through a full season, and like you said, you only drop 3 ranks, these bots are quickly going to go away, and you're just going to be put in with and the if people don't know, the way that the Hell Arena is clustered is it's the same cluster, not like Summit Arena, but it's the same cluster as your guilds. So whatever the variability is across servers for your guild, that is the same variability that you're going to be facing for people in Hell Arena. So you're going to see a lot different, a lot more new faces, a lot of people you've never fought before. And one thing that I'm curious though is if we look at rewards, we see that it looks like, and I don't know, we're going to have to see how this shakes out, but it looks like Hellfighter is only going to be possibly 16 people. Do you think that's the case? Because we got our top 8, and then we got the bottom 8, and as we know, there's 16 people per arena. Do you think there's going to be more than 16, or do you think it's going to be limited to just 16 people that are going to be getting these blood-soaked name tags? What do you think, Crom?
I think they're just going to keep it the same as it is all the way up through the tiers until you get, I think, maybe 5, and then you'll start seeing less people. Like less attacks.
Yeah, but so if only 16 people out of 80 servers can get the highest reward, that's going to be a problem. What do you think, Mayhem? Do you think that's going to be the case, or do you think that there could be 100 people that get in the Hell rank?
I hope it's going to be like that, because then you're just mostly, which, hey, if it's the Krakens, get it. Like I said, I always tell people that, bitch about, it's not fair, these people and all that. If people spend money on this game, that's what keeps this game going. So I'm all for it. But I hope it's 100 or 50 or something like that, because then those the blood soak. You're not going to get any of the stuff, and it's just you want to keep people in. You want to strive to get something. So I'm hoping that's what they do, and I don't keep it to the top 16 because that's what I was going to say on something with Summit, because I think they expanded Summit Arena this time to a lot more server, which I think a lot of people that made, like I thought I was going to make the 16 didn't, because the players not so bigger.
Yeah, and I think that my fear is unjustified, because if we even just look at Junior Fighter, and I think my main is in the one higher, which is Intermediate Fighter. I'm still seeing some bots at Intermediate Fighter, and that should be, if it's just the 16, it should be populated with a whole bunch of people, and that doesn't make sense. There must be multiple arenas of people currently in Junior Fighter, currently in Intermediate Fighter. I guess we'll see once the season ends, because it's going to take, I think, 6 weeks if you keep getting promoted. Well, let's see, so this is first week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7. So 7 and 8 is you have 2 weeks at the end to try to place into Hell. I guess once we get into week 7, we're going to see how many of our compatriots are all sitting in Hell Fighter, and we'll get a better picture of how many people can actually get top ranks. One other thing that's going to be interesting is that, speaking about the new character, which, let me pull up the shop here, Halentis. So Halentis, you can get 4 copies of her in one season, because the Hell Arena shop, they've already confirmed that the season is 8 weeks long, but the shop resets in the middle after 1 month. At least I'd have to pull up the comment. It says something about the shop timer is independent of the season timer, because I do believe how they said it. Because at first people were seeing this resets in 19 days and we're thinking, okay, now what the hell? We can only, it's only a 1 month tournament, and then we're not going to be able to progress. It's going to take forever to progress. But no, this does reset, and then I don't know why they just didn't make this 2 months long and have double the rewards on everything. So, but Halentis, being a Hell Arena only hero, all of her kit could possibly make her very, very, very overpowered in Hell Arena. If we just look at her passive, where is it? Right, which one is it? This last one. She executes basically, and this is her X30. She'll execute anybody if they are below 10% health, and she hits them with any attack. So I did get my first copy of Halentis today, and I did take her up to X30, because what I see happening with Hell Arena is that they're not going to take away her abilities. So after every season, which is 8 weeks long, we're going to be getting probably a new hero, Hell Arena exclusive hero. I don't know this for a fact, but it would make sense that they would give us a new one for a different class, and then pretty soon you're going to have one OP PvP Hell Arena hero for every class. What do you guys think of that theory? We'll start with Crom.
I think, especially for like people who are like halfway between free to play and pay to play, that would be a good idea. Especially if you have like, you divide it up between classes instead of like going with like assassin for this one and then assassin again for the next one. You know, it would be like maybe like a summoner, vanguard, or a tank.
But you see, they're basically forcing everybody, if they want to be competitive in this, they're going to have to go for, they're almost going to be forced to choose, because a free-to-play player can't develop 3 heroes a month. So they're going to have to pick PvE or PvP to a degree based on the rewards. So, yeah, this kind of demarcates PvP from PvE, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you?
And I think it was just kind of weird how Halentis's kit is strictly for PvP. Like, I've never seen that kind of kit before, even when I was playing other games, because they were all like either both or they stuck with one type of kit. And then hers, I was like, okay, this is really weird.
Well, other games have done this. Like if I look back, or I think back to when I played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, right before I quit, they implemented these things called there was Datacrons and Omicrons. Or I think it was Omicron, whatever. There were two of them, or no, Omicrons. So, but what they did is specific heroes had different Omicrons, which would like unlock special abilities, but they would be focused either to the PvE game mode, which was I can't remember what it was called, not Territory Wars. One PvE, basically it would demarcate a hero between PvE and PvP. But all of the resources that people had to get for their accounts came from the PvP Omicrons. So I have seen this demarcation, which makes a hero basically almost not usable in one half of the game, but extremely useful in the other half of the game. So I've seen it before. I don't mind it. I understand the criticism that people hate it, because all of a sudden we got a hero that we can't use anywhere else, but it's not new to mobile games. But I just think that people aren't going to have the resources to pick PvE or PvP, given how limited resources are in this game and how we don't have that many characters. And to demarcate them that starkly now seems kind of silly. What do you think, Mayhem?
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that this is just me going on a limb. It could be every SP new character comes out, it's going to be that Hell Arena like character, mostly like doing what they did last time where they dropped 3 on us in a week. I could see it going like that for the new season, but it does suck because I waited to your video today to see how she was going to do, and I got her copy, and I was like, I don't know about this one, because it's like, you get like you said, someone has free to play and then they try to put genes into her and get her up, and all of it is just benefits you 3 times a day. I mean, I saw the video where she does pretty decent in regular PvP with the assassin team, but it's hard, like you said, with resources, and you're trying to do you EX30 her. I mean, that's like, like you said in the video, like I'm probably going to go to EX20 and then see how the Hell Arena goes and then make my decision there. But I wish the kit wouldn't be like that, where it's directly. And now this is my thing. If they would, instead of just doing her kit like that, but I could see, I used to play World of Warcraft pretty big, and how you had PvP gear and you had your PvE for raiding gear. I thought maybe it'd be kind of cool to throw in a PvP gear instead of messing with her kit, so she can be used anywhere. You throw gear into it. Now, granted, that throws a lot more gear into it and all that, and we don't have enough gear space anyway. But something different like that, to where this character can be utilized everywhere, not just in one place.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that once, again, we're kind of starting out, we're not really seeing the benefit of using her, but I think that the accounts that do go for the Hell Arena specific characters are going to dominate the ranks at the end after we get through one season, especially if they have her, because of how OP her abilities are for Hell Arena. It's going to be interesting to see. I think maybe it's a little too early to call her, but it is an odd direction for EE to go. Any final thoughts on Hell Arena? I think, Mayhem, do you think it is a good for the game or bad for the game?
No, I think it's good for the game, honestly, because it gives you something else to do in the game, because sometimes you play and you get it done pretty quickly. And I really do love this game. Like, I think it is far ahead of any game I've ever played, and how you can play with the stats and the gearing and everything. But I really do think it's nice, because I think PvP is a little more competitive, and I'm pretty competitive, so I like it. Yeah. But I think it is nice for the game, because you can play with a lot more things, and I thought it was really cool to add a 4th team. I really like that, actually, a lot.
Yep. We're gonna need an extra support for that 4th team, which it's a good thing we're getting it in 2 days. Crom, any final thoughts on Hell Arena before we go into the last contentious topic?
I really do like how they added more trophies to the shop, though.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, the weird thing is, how do we? Where's this collection thing? So we can get keys, these normal keys, the yellow keys from Hell Arena rewards. Where the hell are we getting these red keys that unlock the different loadouts?
I'm pretty sure if you just ask the devs nicely, they might give them to you.
Yeah, fair enough. Someone's gonna have to ask the PIV that, because it'd be nice once we get everything unlocked after maybe a season or two. It'd be nice to build up a whole PvE set and a whole PvP loadout in our collections.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it seems like, I think this one, they do it. There's the PvP specific trophies aren't that common yet. Like what I'm going through these, and these are all I only have the one PvP one here. Albeit this is my streaming account. I don't have all the trophies unlocked. All right, so let's talk about her. Where is she? I'm gonna have to go here to see her. Caraxia. All right.
Luke's sister.
Yeah. Yeah. The biggest blatant pay to win this game has ever done. Free to play are probably never going to obtain her, given the rate that her shards drop. Crom, we'll start with you. What do you think of Caraxia in general, SP Heroes in general, and have you felt the impact of Caraxia in the game on your account in these first 2 weeks that she's been released?
Oh, most definitely. Ever since she came out, there was, I'll say, like, a lot of people got really upset about her dropping, and we lost quite a few members in our guild and other guilds too. I do like her summoning event that, they threw in a lot of the older S heroes. You get the gene hybrid shards and is it the universal crystal shards?
Oh, yeah, universal crystal shards, we get them.
Yeah, and right now I believe is kind of like a testing phase with how they released her. Meaning, like, they want to see how people react, what people do. I think in the sometime future, they're going to add more events to get more astral tickets, because like you said, right now free to play has it's going to be a long time to even get one copy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And
what's that?
No, sorry, you go ahead.
Oh yeah, like my free to play account, I'm not pulling the astrals. I'm hoarding them for the next hero, the next SP. And in 2 weeks, my free-to-play account has 25. And you need roughly, I did the math, we need, I think it was 2,500 tickets, roughly, to get an immortal Caraxia. So do the math. You don't have to do the math. It's years. It's years for free-to-play.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I do like the idea of, it's kind of like almost like a wish list, but you can't pick the S hero. So if you have 60 of the tickets, I'd say just go ahead and do them, just because you get potentially more than one copy of a S hero, plus gene hybrids, red runes, and the universal crystal shards.
Yeah, it's almost a 3% drop rate. I have gotten, I got 2.5. I'm sitting at 2 copies and 40 shards. And I've gotten I got Miranda, I've got Panda, I've got Ampu, I've got Rickert out of here. I think I got a couple Zeta. It is a catch-up mechanism as well for the other SP or SSS heroes. It's just that we have very limited access to these astral tickets. We're gonna be able to pull a few more once we start getting up into Hell Arena. Again, to go back to Hell Arena, if I pull up the shop here, we can kind of look. We can buy 20 per month, and if you need 2,500 tickets, that helps, but that's not enough. So
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with you. We need more places to get these Astral tickets, and they have to, because like you said, you lost a bunch of people, and I've seen a bunch of people leave as well. They got to kind of either address that or nip it in the butt, which I hope we see something with the patch notes tonight. Any other thoughts on Caraxia and the SP Heroes?
I think maybe 3 people I've seen that where they've got one guy in our server has a mythic one, but I really ran into it. Even our Kraken that's in the number 2 or the number 1 guild in our server, we're number 2. He's not even really, he's just going with it. I don't think he's really spent a lot. Now, a way we could fix it, hypothetically, Ancient Altar increases. You go to 2 modes, and instead of you go to the higher ones, you can put Astral cards in there.
Perfect idea.
And that could be a way to where you can put some gene, or for the Universal Crystals and the Astral cards in there, and it gives it a chance to where you can get more, because I think they're going to do something down the road where they've seen this and they're going to start seeing people leave. Instead of double chip event, there could be a way to where you get the cards there and then they up the value of her percentage, and you might have where there could be a 10 pull where you get 10 shards of her, and where at least I think what it is, if you got a couple of copies of her and it was within a month or 2, even the free to play would be happy if they had 1 or 2, 3 copies of her, and because she's pretty good even at Mythic. That would be a way to where you could keep, and it wouldn't piss everyone off. You're never going to make anyone happy, but we need this in the game, just not this hard to get, because it's just, like you said, I mean, that's astronomical about cards that to get. They've got to make it a way, or do events to where you get more of them, where free to play can, because it's just going to start putting people away. But I haven't really seen her much in my server.
Yeah, like no one on my arena shard has her. No one in my galactic arena cluster has her. Obviously, there was one person in summon arena. She's just they've priced the whales out too. Like I know whales that are just saying no. I'll spend $300, but I'm not spending $3,000, which is the average price tag to get her. You're right. I love your idea of the adding more levels into Ancient Altar. That's the perfect place. Make that last difficulty level so hard that either you have to burn. I'd like it hard enough that you can't do it with 5 tickets for an average end game account. Just give us something to work towards, but make it the reward there. That once we get it, we get more Astral tickets. That's the perfect place to put Astral tickets, in my opinion. You hit that one right on the head.
Yeah, because there's so many people asking for that. Is the Ancient Altar? It always goes back to that. It's just perfect for it.
Yeah, just tack on. You could just it's the assets are in the game. All you got to do is notch the difficulty up, and then give applicable rewards, because anyone. For any new account can down that thing in a month and a half. No problem. So, cool. Any other final thoughts on Caraxia there, Mayhem?
I like it. I do. And like I think you've said before, I think there's going to be one for every, mostly in a way, which, I think it's great. You do need it, which it adds a little differently. But she's a monster. A couple of the videos I've seen where just everything gets red and boom, everybody's dead. Like it's just, you don't know what happens. Everybody dies. And I also like her look. I think it's cool. So I think it's a great character. Just make it a little bit easier for people to get.
Right on. Okay. Gentlemen, we are an hour and 4 minutes in. It definitely hasn't felt like an hour discussion. We'll see how many people put the safe word of the day in the comments who made it to the end of this monster. But let's end with you guys plugging your channels. I will have their YouTube channels linked in the description of this video. I ask anyone that's made it this far, I should have mentioned that at the beginning. But please go give these two a subscribe and watch a couple of their stuff. So we'll start with Crom. Crom, plug your stuff. Crom?
Sorry. Well, my YouTube username is Crom. You guys can find me on Discord, especially in the Celestials Discord channel.
And for Mayhem, you can find me at Gaming with Mayhem. Throw that. I've been doing a lot of shorts too. Been trying to do something new with that, building the shorts up and TikTok for this game. It's my little thing I've been trying to do.
Well, good, because I'm not touching TikTok. So you have that one. You can have that one. All right, like I said, I'll have both of their channels linked in the description. Go check out their stuff, and please subscribe to them as I cough right into the mic. All right, so we're going to end this. So the word, which is the word of the day? Let's I don't know what the word of the day should be. We're going to make it PvP. Very easy, because we're moving into PvP. This has been a PvP content drop this week. So if anyone's made it to the end of this video, the safe word of the day for this video is PvP. Put that down in the comments section. I'll know you made it to the end. And I'll also know that you have no excuse not to go click on Mayhem and Crom's YouTube links in the description. So with that, we will wrap this up. Sorry it was so long, but I think this game needs some more long-form discussion, more long-form round-table discussions versus just the quippy little clickbaity stuff that we see everywhere right now. So, gentlemen, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. It was fun. Like I said, the time went very, very quickly. Didn't feel like an hour. And maybe we'll do this again sometime. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir.
All right, so we'll end that there. Again, word of the day is PvP, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers, peace. Bye-bye.